about Lefty is that we built the whole thing in CAD before we ever bought a tube, which is kind of difficult to do, but it was only because of the experience that we had building Honcho that we were able to build Lefty. And you can kind of watch the videos on how we designed the front suspension, rear suspension, then put all the things in like seats and how the tires are going to clear. You can actually see how Lefty is actually designed to run a 42-inch tire if we wanted to upgrade to those with the Milestar tires. And then we built my little boy side by side over here. It's a Razor 200 EFI. And what's really cool about this is now that we're getting good, a little bit of experience with Bentech, is we actually built this roll cage. We designed it in one day, but from the morning is when I cut the tubes. And it took about maybe an hour to cut all the tubes. And I had the whole roll cage welded together that evening. That's something that you can do one-offs, or you can do multiples if you're like doing some kind of production with the Bentech software. So that was really cool. And then after we did that, we built the roll cage over here for a Trooper. It's a 1973 VW Bug. Totally badass. This is about a 2.5 month build. So this, about 2.5 months ago, this was all white. We had a beer can taped to the side we were using for our fuel system. And so I have 2 or 3 videos where I showed you how I took all of the dimensioning from the inside. You make things called pick points, which is just a really neat way of saying X, Y, and Z coordinates. And so we mapped out how we were going to do the full roll cage for this thing. And then I cut all the tubes out, maybe about an hour or something like that. Bent them, and it took about 2 days to weld this up. It was a little more tricky, I found, because this is my first time welding a roll cage with constraints like, you know, the other parts of the car there and those kinds of things. But what is kind of unique about this one is the fact that we welded the whole roll cage together with the body off, and then we mated the body to it after the roll cage was mostly done. You kind of see in here, besides our very pretty Angela Lassiter in there, keeping one of the seats warm, you can kind of see just some of the tubes here just wouldn't fit. You couldn't put the body in and over top of it, so those had to go in afterwards. But you know, the bends, you know, this is all just like, you know, maybe a couple minutes of CAD work, and you can just see how nicely those bends go around. Actually makes it a pretty comfortable ride inside the car, so it went together really well. And then another kind of neat thing about these is all of them are built, and really I couldn't do this without a plasma table. People are using plasma tables all the time. I use the Langmuir Systems Crossfire XR, and if you look at every single one of these, there's either thousands of different pieces made that I cut, you know, and I think I showed you on a video. I can go from concept to like, this is the part I need, to cutting it out and being ready to weld it in about 5 minutes using Fusion 360 Crossfire XR to do those things. And if you are interested in one of those tables, I got a ton of videos that show you how to use them. And then if you go to Langmuir Systems and you use our code NTD Racing, you'll get $100 off. We'll get a little bucks too, because we need to pay for all this stuff. That's really cool. So we get kind of an affiliate commission for that. I think my affiliate link has sold over 200 tables. No one has ever told me they didn't love the tables. They're pretty amazing. We need a light plate for the back of it. And we're like, well, let's do this. And so here's like a 10-minute design. Cut this thing out, paint it, and throw it on there. Yeah, pretty trick little design. And you can see all kinds of stuff. You can kind of see the design over here on the front. Our skid plate, we have it customized with our team logo on there. So some cool things there. One other thing we're running on all the trucks, which I think is awesome too, is like all the consumables, like tires, are just so expensive. We run Milestars, and so not only are they a budget-minded tire, they're almost bulletproof. We ran Honcho at 2 Baja 1000s and 2 Min 400s, and we were kind of challenging ourselves. We never took the lug nuts off. It ran that long. Those tires are amazing. We were running the Patagonia Mud Train 1s then. We're running Patagonia Mud Train 2s, and you can just see how badass these tires look. And kind of the unique thing about them is that with the lug pattern that you kind of see in the center here, it's a nice riding tire when you're on the road. It's quiet, runs really nice, but you can kind of see the lugs over here on the side. When you get in the sand, you get in the sill, the thing just turns into raging paddle wheels. I mean, it's really a cool tire. Sidewalls are super tough. We have beaten these things up. These tires right here are the tires we ran Baja 1000 with, and they did great. They're just super durable tire, and we just love them. We run them. These are the Patagonia Mud Trains. These are the All-Train Pros that are on. You got a beer cap stuck to it. These are our All-Train Pros we're running over here on Trooper. So we'll get to see how well those things work. But but just awesome. You know, we did start running the rugged radios. So we originally ran on Lefty and Honcho's PCI radios. We're running rugged radios now. Amazing company, amazing radios, and amazing customer service. And a lot of times, that's what makes the difference, I think, in this business. Really like the rugged radio stuff. I do want to kind of mention one of our sponsors that isn't necessarily in the smaller trucks. We got a sponsor that runs the big trucks, Industrial Power. They have 3 facilities in the Fort Worth area. So like if you got like an RV, like a diesel pusher, like where do you get one of those worked on by the pros? If you got like a big bus, if you got a semi truck or something like that, I know a lot of just, you know, guys who have hands like mine are watching this channel. You got a semi truck, where do you take your stuff to get worked on? You go to Industrial Power, 3 places in the Fort Worth area. And these guys are the pros. They can do work in their shop. They can bring their shop to wherever you are. They got mobile stuff to fix your vehicles. And the owner is one of my friends forever. We've been friends for about 25 years now. An amazing guy. Love him. And he helps out. He supports us, and we hope we support them also. We got, most importantly, what we're running on all of the vehicles, and this is totally badass, is Pivot. And every time I think we've gotten to the point where we have reached the end of what Pivot can do, they've totally blown me away. So we're running Pivot. You know, if you just want to look at the basic Pivot mount we got in here, what we use it for is we run our iPads for navigation, for engine instruments, and also for live streaming at times. And then we run them in what is called a Pivot case. So that there's 2 different parts you can kind of think of with the Pivot line of stuff. You have the part that goes on your car. That's the ball mounts and all those things. You can literally mount these things to anything. Let's take a look at this one here real quick. This is the iPad on a Pivot mount. It makes it so you can move it around, you can grab it, you can take this one out, and then now, here's the part that goes to the car. There's a million different options for doing that. And once that's in there, you can run any of your other stuff. You can run an iPad, the big one. You can run an iPad mini. You can run one of your phones, and all those can be found on their website at flyboys.com, or I think it's pivot.com also. You can find them really awesome. But what really blew me away, hey Matthew, stop here real quick. Is we were like, well, we need somewhere to run our rugged radio. Like, how do we do that? And these guys came through with these clamps because we were running all kinds of different things. And on a round tube, how do you keep something from spinning? These guys come through with this amazing clamping system, and it works on not only the rugged radios or the just about anything you can mount with the Pivot line of equipment. So it's just really one of the most versatile pieces of equipment that you can get for mounting stuff. If you watch some of our videos, we run it on the axle of one of our trucks, so at full speed, jumping and everything. You'll see just to prove that it can be done, you'll see an iPad on the axle going through full suspension travel and over jumps and holding on lock solid.
Hey, Caleb Provincio, NTD Racing. I've been part of the team for just 3 years now. Primary role now is driver and navigator, so I do both. I'll drive a little and navigate a little.
Favorite NTD Racing video?
Favorite, I think probably building Lefty. That was just building the trucks and working on the trucks, and I think that's the best, is be able to be there from the ground up and build something that you get to take to a race and then actually put it to the test. So sometimes it hurts, so watch things when you break things and bend things, but since you can be part of the build. But I think the best is getting the car here. That's the hardest thing.
You ever wrecked?
I knew that was coming. I may have turned Lefty upside down.
There we go.
I may have I'm one of the few people that have put one of Dave's cars upside down, and but the good news is I call it a test of the emergency procedures that we have in place. So I tested the emergency procedures. They work great, and and I gave an opportunity for us to fix the car right before Baja. So put us in a little panic and get us going.
This is my dad, Rich Pryor. One of the smartest dudes I know. Went through his whole career, nuclear physicist, worked at all the labs, all the national labs. Got some really crazy stories. And great dad, amazing guy. He's been on the team since day one. And he keeps saying that he's known me longer than anybody else on the team. Something like 52 years or something like that. I'm enjoying this. It's fun. My dad bought an RV so he could follow our team. And we're starting the Baja 1000. The race is going to go Highway 1, Highway 3, and then all the way down south. My dad is driving my brothers. They're raced by like 33. And they park it and they say, hey, we're over here at 33. I'm like, well, we're 37. You're in a speed zone. And where we're at, the cars are going to be at full speed. So why don't you come to where we are? So they start driving down the race course. They're on the race course. People are throwing stuff in the car and everything. And my little brother tells my older brother, he's like, hey, I think we need to go faster. Jeff's like, no, we're good. We don't need to go faster. My dad's like, I think we need to go faster. Like, we're like the race has started. The cars are coming. And Jeff goes, listen, unless we see helicopters, we don't need to go faster. John looks over his shoulder and goes, like that helicopter right there. And Bryce Menzies is hauling ass up behind him. So right now, my dad's RV is the fastest vehicle, the Baja 1000. They're hauling ass. They pull over. 60 seconds later, Bryce Menzies full assault, whoa, right by us. And then it was the millions. Oh, it's so amazing.
We're the Baja 1000.
And we got so many more stories. I always end up putting my dad in weird situations. So there's more.
I am a navigator and the official decal.
There we go.
What about you, Al? Favorite memory is the first Baja in 2020. David and Danny got stuck in the desert overnight. We had to go rescue.
I'm David Lassiter. I'm a driver and navigator. I do all the maps for the team. Favorite memory. Our very first Baja broke a tie rod, and Danny and I spent next 14 hours out in the desert. I sparked up a video from my phone on Netflix, and we fell asleep about 5 minutes into the movie, and then we had the locals come up and scare the crap out of us, but needless to say, they just actually wanted a picture, so it ended up being pretty cool.
It's definitely, I think, my favorite race of the year that we get to do. It's a really fun course. It's cool that it's a loop, and get to kind of have the whole team together at the main pit, which is a really good vibe, good experience, and yeah, it's just generally a really fun course.
Jim Johnson, been with the team since the beginning, since 2020 when Dave first built Honcho here. I live in Texas and live on a sailboat. This is my fun fact. Come this fall, I'm sailing away and may not come back. So try to make as many races as I can wherever I end up in the world.
But my name is J.D. Danny Whitaker. I have been with the team since the first Baja, part of the Dirty Dozen. One of the greatest things that I've ever done in my entire life. Winning the Fleshy Phoenix Award for talking to Rob McCackeren about what I should do my first time driving. Everybody had their mouth wide. They could not believe that I went and just walked up to him, talked to him like he was anybody. He puts his pants on one leg at a time, and he's the GOAT. He's arguably the greatest off-road racer ever in the history of the sport. And he was right there. The Fleshy Phoenix Award is an award that's handed out every race for either the most boneheaded or the most amazing contribution for that race.
What do you say?
Keep it in between the navigational beacons.
Denny LeBeau. I am the manager of NTD Racing, or the cat herder, as we say unofficially. Been friends with Dave Pryor since New Mexico Military Institute a long time ago. And one day back in 2020, Dave called me up. He goes, I just got furloughed. I think I can build a race truck. I'm like, all right, I'm in. Let's do it. So that's who I am. Been with the team since the beginning. Having a blast every race. More fun every time. Going out, doing stupid stuff. Hey, this is Honcho, original truck Honcho. First truck, 2020 build. Raced the Baja 1000 5 times. And this was our first baby. From this one, we decided to have another child, which led to this truck, which did not have a name. And the name for this truck, we were struggling with it. And some guy on YouTube said, it should be Lefty. And we said Honcho and Lefty. And for those of y'all who don't get it, it's for Poncho and Lefty, the old Willie Nelson song. So we have Lefty. After racing those 2 trucks, we weren't satisfied. We're like, let's try something different. We went with a Class 11. This is pure racing right here. This is racing at its basics. You can't modify this thing a whole lot. It's got to be mostly stock. The original engine was 40 horsepower. Hopefully we're pulling a few more than that.
Have you been interviewed?
I don't interview nothing.
No, that's messed up, man. You need us to do it. I said you want to.
All right, I am Chad. I am the pivot man. So if you need anything to do with phone cases or iPad cases, that's me. So I work for Pivot, which we sponsor all these vehicles. But I was on the race team before that, so I found Pivot through the race team and got to know the owner, and
next thing you know, I'm working at Pivot. It's freaking awesome.
You did the mid 400 on your motorcycle.
I did 2 years ago. Yeah, race before last. I did it on my dirt bike Ironman style, on my basically motocross bike, and it was a mess. But I finished, and that's all that matters. So,
What was your top speed during that?
123. So that was right after the motorcycle broke, and then I was stuck out there for a couple hours, and finally somebody in the pits had a bolt for my front sprocket, brought that out to me, and then I was back on the road, and then got on to the flat lake bed or whatever, the dry lake bed, and just wide open. And fifth gear was just like at the rev limiter, and it was awesome.
Speaking of braking, and spent some time out in the desert.
Baja experience in Lefty here. We didn't make it too far. What, mile marker 50, I think. And we snapped the rear axle, and it was awesome. The best part about it, though, was being stuck out there, and a bunch of the locals were there camping, and they just took me and Dave in, gave us hot coffee, and we couldn't understand a word they were saying the whole time.
How you feeling?
Good.
You ready to party?
I'm ready to party.
It's gonna be fun, ain't it?
You know, whether we like it or not, the race is going to start in a couple hours. So just got to get there and get it done.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So we're just cruising. This is my father-in-law, David Lassiter. He's ready to party. We're about to tear this thing up. We're in a J10 Jeep that is no longer a J10, but it's a J10 body.
Third place podium. Hell yeah. Yeah. You got third place?
You guys are third. You got third place.
We got third place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude!
All about. Do it for the stories you can tell.